Hi everybody, my name is Ramses. I'm going to show you today how to prepare Mexican shrimp cocktails. So I'm going to show you what the ingredients are, okay? Come a little closer please. So you're going to, I have a 2-pound bag of shrimp. Any shrimp will do. I usually go with medium to prawn size. Fresh ingredients, a couple of avocados, a cucumber, jalapenos, this is optional though, onion, yellow or white onion will do, 2 pretty big size Roma tomatoes, or you can get 3 small ones, some cilantro, saltines, limes, and then Valentina or Tapatio. I prefer Valentina because it's not as hot, so my stomach won't suffer. Ketchup, this is a 38 ounce bottle of ketchup. You're going to use about 2/5 of it, more or less, a third to 2/5, depending on how much you like ketchup. And this sauce, which is, what is it called?
Worcestershire sauce.
There you go, that. So, thank you. In regards of the shrimp, I like to get them with the shell and everything because I cook them with the shell. It adds a little more flavor. However, that's not imperative. If you feel lazy or whatever, or just don't want to do that much because it's a lot more work, you can just get them already peeled and deveined. It'll make your job a lot easier. Hi. So now what we're gonna do is we're gonna boil some water. Enough water to cover the shrimp once I place them in a bigger bowl here. Meanwhile, I'm gonna rinse the shrimp once with shells and everything, and tail and everything. Alright, you don't have to rinse them like too much. But just enough. I want to make sure that they're clean before I cook them. Okay, pause it. The water is ready, it's boiling, so we know that it's ready. I'm going to turn this off. I have already rinsed my shrimp with shells and everything. Okay, it is time to cook our shrimp. You have to be really careful because this is hot, hot, hot. So enough water to cover them, okay? That looks pretty good to me. And I'm going to cover this. Now, these shrimp have the shell on, so it may take a little longer to cook. If you get the peeled shrimp, they'll cook right away. You don't have to worry much about it. I will check on this in a bit. If I feel they're not completely cooked, then I am going to put them in the fire or on the stove at a very low setting to make sure they cook. But you do not want to overcook them because then the consistency of the shrimp changes a little bit and they get a little dry. All right. While they cook, I'm going to start chopping the things that I need to chop, and I will show you how, or at least the end result. Usually you want to chop things thinly. So you're going to chop the tomatoes. I'll do like a third of this onion. I'm going to peel the cucumber and then chop it also finely, and chop some cilantro. This is optional. Some people want to add it after everything's already prepared to top it. This also you add it after the shrimp cocktail is prepared to top it, okay? But the rest goes inside with the ketchup and with the broth you make out of the shrimp. Okay, so I'm checking on my shrimp and I feel they're not fully cooked like I want them to. There's still some grayish area, and that's because of the shells and also they're prawns, so they're a lot bigger. As I said before, if you buy them without shells already, it'll cook pretty quickly without you having to cook them. So I am going to put them in fire for a little longer and low, and I'd say about 3 minutes or so. I'll check on them. The reason why I like to buy them with shells is because the broth has a little more flavor. It's subtle, but it has a little more flavor. But it will be okay if you buy them peeled already. So after they're cooked, I'm gonna take them out here and peel them, and I will put the broth out to cool off. You wanna eat these cold. Some places serve them hot, but I like them cold. If you're in a rush, you put them in the freezer. Luckily, we have a separate freezer, so if you're in a rush, but otherwise, just put them out to put the broth out to cool off. Okay, well now you can tell they're cooked completely. All nice and pink. There's no gray area in any of the shrimp, so they're ready to be peeled. Okay, so I've separated the shrimp that I want to peel from the broth. This is your broth. This is the base of the cocktail. So what I'm going to do now is kind of filter it a little bit, because you may see a tail, leg, parts of the shell, so you don't want that in your cocktail. Also, if you get them with the shell, you want to peel it, and also peel the tail. Don't leave the tails in there, because otherwise you're going to be eating the cocktail and you have to like take a tail every single time you get shrimp. So let me filter this. Okay, so you can see some of the residue from the shrimp. So I now will just put it back, or put the broth back in here. There's a big piece of shrimp I put there myself. So I'm just gonna let it cool off now. I'm gonna go peel this. Hi everybody. So I have cut all my vegetables. Please get closer. 1 full cucumber, the 2 tomatoes, big size tomatoes I got. Only half an onion. My wife doesn't like onions as much. And this much of cilantro. These are afterwards. So is this. This will be an additional ingredient if you don't want to. If you want to make it a little spicy, but you don't want to use Valentina or Tapatio, you can also cut fresh jalapenos and add it after. But I won't need to do that. Usually this is good enough for me and for my wife. So this is our broth. It's nice and cool now because I put it in the freezer for a little while. So right now what we're gonna do is add the ketchup. Okay, ketchup is what pretty much gives it flavor, obviously, in the broth. We're gonna use about this is a 38-ounce bottle. I had already used like 2/5 of it for another batch I did. So right now I'm gonna use about like a half of these, so just another third, more or less. So you just add it to the broth, and we're gonna stir it. Okay, so stir, not steer. So I'm stirring. So there'll be chunks kind of like of ketchup, so you have to make sure they dissolve. So that's what I'm trying to do right now. I think it still needs a little more ketchup, but we'll find out. So I've been stirring for a little while. Finally it dissolved enough. You know, you can always just give it a taste. It has to be ketchupy. I forgot to add these before, so I'm gonna add this. Say it again.
The Worcestershire sauce.
There you go. And I'm gonna add about half a teaspoon. No, wait. Is it a? Yeah, right. Half a teaspoon. Does not need a lot. It's just to give it a little tanginess. If you don't have this, it's okay. Don't worry about it. I didn't used to use it before. It's something that I've been trying recently, and it gives a little more tanginess. But if you have it, use it. So I'm gonna add now the rest of the ingredients. The tomatoes. This is a lot. I may just use maybe like 2/3 of it. But it's up to you, however you like it. The cilantro, the onion, and our shrimp. We're gonna stir a little bit. So they can mix nicely. So if you go to a restaurant, my wife and I went to a Mexican restaurant yesterday, and it was $18 for one of these, just with shrimp, or $20 with octopus, which I do sometimes. It's a lot cheaper if you make it at home, and most likely it'll taste better as well. So let me give it. You don't need to add any salt. The ketchup has enough salt. Let me. It's ready to go. Now we serve it. So I'm gonna show you how to serve that. Look at that. Get closer. It's a beauty. So now this is how you serve it. Obviously you fill this baby up. I add a lot of vegetables. You don't have to add as much, but it also makes you can serve more people. Obviously, if you have more vegetables. I'm gonna leave a little space, and I'll tell you why. Let me decorate these with one of these babies. So this is set. Now, the way I eat it is I add half a lime. I'm sorry. My wife adds like half. This is a quarter. I only add, I'm sorry, a quarter of a lime. And then you top it with some avocado. Here we go. Yeah, you can cut it on the board, but I just get lazy. And this is a lot easier and looks cooler. Just don't cut yourself, because I can sense that the thickness of the skin of the avocado can take the pressure of the knife, but you gotta be really careful. And this is a big avocado, so I'm just gonna top it with like half or more. So I add the quarter of a lime. I add the avocado, and then I top it also with some Valentina. And you also serve some saltines on the side. And just in case you're wondering where you can buy this, I bought this at World Market. Not that I'm trying to advertise for them. So when you go to a restaurant, this is how they serve it. You add the Valentina and the lime after. You do mix it up a little bit, so the lime can go on all the. I'm just gonna add this here. Can dissolve in all the cocktail. And yeah, that's good enough for the demonstration. You add a little bit of vegetables. And that's how you make shrimp cocktail. I hope you enjoyed this. Hopefully you can prepare some at home. It's a lot cheaper than going to the restaurant. It tastes better. For me, it needs a little more ketchup, so I would add more ketchup. Some people don't like as much ketchup, so I can't add as much. But, you know, then if you want more, just add a little more. You mix it up again, and voila, you're set. I would accompany these if you're not working with a beer or soda. Hopefully, if you have any questions, you can reach out to me. I'll be happy to answer them. Thank you, and bye-bye.